Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Today, Superman learns to his horror that Apollo has plunged from its orbit and is now being destroyed by the powerful burning rays of the sun. And now, the adventures of Superman. Unable to preserve his strength on the doomed planet Apollo, where he had come in an effort to save the inhabitants from destruction, Superman was forced to return to Earth to consult with Dr. John Millison, the famous scientist. Millison analyzed a sample of the atmosphere of Apollo Superman had brought back with him and discovered that it contained a high content of krypton gas, which accounted for Superman's loss of strength. He was about to discuss a device which he believed would sustain the Man of Steel on Apollo for a limited time when he received a phone call from the observatory on Mount Arthur. After listening for a moment, Dr. Millison replaced the phone. And as we continue now, he turns and says solemnly,
I'm afraid you'll never return to the planet Apollo, Superman.
Why?
Because it's no longer visible.
What happened?
Apollo is lost in space, and all of its people are doomed. Not even you, Superman, can help them now.
But I must help them, Dr. Millison. I must save them.
It's impossible now to do anything for them, Superman. You see, for 3 days since Apollo left its orbit, it's been revolving around its own moon.
I know that,
Let me explain. As it lost energy, it became subject to the gravitational pull of the sun. Until now, it's somewhere in space, so close to that ball of fire that nothing can save the planet and everyone on it from being consumed.
Great Scott, is it really that bad?
Unbelievably bad. Matter of fact, we don't even know where the planet is now. It may already have come so close to the sun that the direct rays have consumed Apollo's atmosphere.
On the other hand, there is still at least an outside chance that I may be able to find it in time to do something about saving Sane and Lalo and all those other millions of helpless human beings up there. Look, Dr. Millison, you said you had an idea how I could save them. What did you have in mind?
Well, I thought that perhaps by driving deeply into the very core of the planet and releasing the gases and other energizing matters penned up there...
Yes.
It's just possible that the tremendous energy so released in a form of jets might speed up the revolutions of Apollo enough to give it added centrifugal force and thus reestablish its orbit.
I think I see what you mean.
But that's impossible now. The planet is lost, irrevocably lost.
I'll find it. Now, look, you said you could prepare something, a mask and tank or whatever, that would neutralize the high content of krypton gas in Apollo's atmosphere and permit me to preserve my strength up there for a limited time.
Yes.
How long will it take you to fix it?
Well, not more than a couple of hours. However...
Then get busy on it at once, please. Every second counts.
No, Superman, I can't let you do it.
You must. After all, those
You told me you were caught in the direct rays of the sun on the way back from Apollo, and we're almost finished. Isn't that so?
Yes, but this
Well,
time...
this time you'll have to approach even closer to the sun. You may very well be destroyed, and I can't let you risk almost certain death when you're so valuable to us on Earth.
Look, Dr. Millison, get this and get it straight. Whatever you say or do cannot stop me from making a try. Because I gave Thane and Lalo my word that I'd be back to try to help them.
But
and I always keep my word. I may be valuable here on Earth, but I'm not indispensable. No one man is in a democracy. So Earth can get along very well without me, as it did for so long. But Apollo is doomed unless I can save it. And I'm going to try even if you refuse to make me the defense I need against its atmosphere.
Very well. I guess you win.
Good.
I'll get started on that anti-krypton device at once. Shouldn't take more than a couple of hours to construct it.
All right, but hurry, Doctor. For heaven's sake, hurry.
As Superman anxiously paces the floor of Dr. Millison's laboratory, impatient to be off on his perilous mission, millions of miles away in space on the doomed planet Apollo, another scientist, the elderly white-bearded Thane and his daughter Lalo, sit in the mouth of a cave on a hillside above the Sea of Mercury. Sunlight, stronger and brighter than any the inhabitants of Apollo have ever known, bakes the land, and a dry wind blowing down through a pass in the mountains seems to come from a raging oven. All in this tiny village of Thane's birth have been driven from the heat of the valley into caves in the hills. And even the strange tika birds, which ordinarily nest in the black and silver-leafed trees by day and swim in the Sea of Mercury only at night, now have left the heat of the trees to stand on the edge of the strange sea and complain in their weird calls against the unaccustomed warmth of the liquid. Mopping her perspiring face, Lalo fans her weakened father with a small branch of leaves as they await what seems to be certain destruction by the sun.
You are kind, Lalo, but the fanning stirs only the hot air.
I thought it might help a bit, Father.
Nay, sit quietly. That is best. Does water still remain in the wells?
No, not much. And that fills people's hearts with fear. What is to happen to them and to us, Father?
I fear the worst, Lalo. For I know now that this star we live on has left the orbit in which it revolved and is being drawn closer into the merciless, naked heat of the sun.
But what will happen as we approach closer to the sun?
That is simple. We and all else on this poor doomed star will be destroyed, consumed by the power and heat of the sun's rays.
Oh, whoa. And nothing be done to avert this catastrophe?
Nothing. Unless, perhaps...
Perhaps what, Father?
Unless the stranger from Earth, he who calls himself Superman, returns.
Aye. He's possessed of great powers, and he flies through the air. He seems also to have the strength of full 20 of our giant slaves.
And he has also great wisdom.
Father, he promised to return. Perhaps...
Aye, but I know not if he can discover us now in the great space void. Perhaps even now he seeks for our star and seeks in vain.
Oh, say not that, Father, please.
I fear it is the truth, my child.
Oh, no.
Oh, if only the Raz had listened to me and to Superman instead of to his own cruel heart and to his ignorant astrologers. But now I fear it is too late.
Perhaps not, Father. Perhaps Superman will find us.
He is our only hope. Wait. What is that distant rumbling?
Thunder?
No. It sounds somewhat different from thunder.
But what else can it be, Father?
I know not, but I fear...
Mr. Lalo!
Who calls?
Oh, it is Ord, the slave giant of the princess whom Superman brought here with us.
Oh, yes, I had forgotten.
Sire! Oh, wise one.
What is it, Ord?
The far snow-capped mountains, from where I and the other giants came.
What of them?
There is no snow-capped mountain now, Ord. I saw this morning how the great sun had melted the snow.
Aye, but no, sire. The great sun melts the mountains themselves.
What? What is this you say?
Come, look beyond this ridge for yourselves. All in the village stand now and shake with fear at what they see. And at the strange thunder, which is not the thunder of a storm.
Come, let us see, Lalo. If this be true...
Oh, it is true, Father. Behold, the distant mountain peaks collapse and disappear before our very eyes.
Oh, it is as I feared.
The great being have mercy on us.
This cannot be, Father. I must be dreaming.
You dream not, my daughter. As our star draws closer to the sun and rotates more slowly, it loses energy and matter. The disintegration of our star has begun. Our end is near.
Face ashen white, Thane puts a comforting arm around his trembling daughter, as together with the giant Ord, they watch in awe as the far distant mountain peaks crumble like stacks of children's blocks, then disappear. Is Superman too late? We'll know more in a moment, so stand by for the tense climax of today's episode.
Say, gang, if you haven't joined up in the Junior Red Cross membership drive, don't put it off another day. Ask your teacher about it tomorrow at school. Find out what a wonderful way it is to lend a helping hand to children who need it, both here and overseas, and to help keep the Red Cross many activities going, like those swell Red Cross life-saving courses, for instance. Yes, sir, the Junior Red Cross is one organization you want to be part of. So get your membership tomorrow.
Helplessly, Thane and Lalo, on Apollo, can only watch the disintegration of their doomed planet. As millions of miles away on the terrace before the observatory on Mount Arthur, Superman, a pair of metal cylinders strapped to his back, stands once more with Dr. Millicent and his colleague, Dr. Bloomfield.
For the last time, Superman, I beg you to give up this trip. I tell you, you're practically committing suicide.
Let's hope not, Dr. Millicent. Anyhow, I'm going to make a try at saving Apollo.
But Dr. Millicent is right, Superman. Even if you do find Apollo, which I doubt, it will be so close to the sun that you'll almost certainly lose your life.
Afraid I've got to risk that, Dr. Bloomfield.
But look here,
See,
how
now,
can you...
I have the mask. You say there's enough nitrogen and oxygen in the containers for 24 hours, Dr. Millicent?
Yes, but no longer.
That should be long enough. I won't need it until I get on the planet. Oh, yes, there's no danger of the containers bursting in the stratospheric pressure, is there?
No, I've taken precautions against that.
Good.
But there are no precautions we can take against the power of the direct rays of the sun in space.
I know.
And the cosmic rays and sunspots.
So I still think you ought to...
Come, cheer up. This trip may not be nearly as tough as you think.
No? Well, I can assure you it'll be tougher than you think.
Yes. Please, Superman, won't you reconsider?
Save your breath, Dr. Bloomfield. I'm going. Now, just one more thing. I want to leave this envelope with you. As you see, it's addressed to Perry White. If I'm not back before the week is up, I'd like you to give it to him.
Of course. Is it your will?
It's something far more important than that. So please guard it carefully. Don't let it out of your hands until I get back to claim it, or until you give it to Mr. White.
I'll guard it with my life.
Thank you. Well, I guess that's all then. Goodbye, Dr. Millison, and thank you for all you've done.
If only I could make you change your mind.
Don't bother, you can't.
Goodbye, then, and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Bye, Dr. Bloomfield.
Goodbye and Godspeed, Superman.
I'll be seeing you both soon, I hope. Up! Up! And away!
Leaping high from the terrace, Superman rockets away toward the sun, red cape streaming in the wind. And back on the observatory terrace, certain they are seeing him for the last time. Dr. Millison and Dr. Bloomfield watch until he is but a tiny speck in the sky. And then, nothing. Will Superman live through this most perilous of all his adventures? And will he find the doomed planet Apollo before it, Thane, Lalo, and all the other human beings there are destroyed? We'll learn more in tomorrow's thrilling episode. So be sure to be with us. Same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman. Now, the adventures of Superman. Pointing out that the planet Apollo was now lost in space and presumably being drawn into the sun. Dr. Millison, the famous scientist, pleaded with Superman to give up his idea of searching for it because of a fear that he would almost certainly be destroyed. But Superman insisted on making an attempt to save the inhabitants of the doomed planet and, equipped with a device to sustain himself in the strange atmosphere of Apollo, rocketed away. As we continue now, he has passed beyond the orbit of Earth and is once more in the vast, awesome reaches of space, searching for the lost planet. Streaking in great looping arcs, he approaches closer and closer to the blazing white-hot sun, whose ultra-powerful rays and tremendous magnetic pull almost conquered him once before. Listen.
No sign of Apollo yet. Nothing but space. Emptiness. Dr. Millison was right. It's like looking for a marble in the Pacific Ocean. But I've got to find it. Oh, what happened? I'm getting weak. Direct rays of the sun. Cosmic rays must have caught me again. Got to get away from them. Fast. Away! There. I'm all right now, but I must be careful. The sun is like a terrific magnet, and I can't keep fighting it forever. If I'm going to find Apollo, I'd better find it quickly, or I'll be done for. Away!
Locked once more in a titanic battle with the sun, the mightiest force in the universe, Superman darts, wheels, streaks in tremendous flights and whirls, like a flashing meteor himself, disdaining death as he searches for the lost planet Apollo. Meanwhile, like a rudderless ship lost in an endless sea, Apollo moves through space, drawing ever nearer to the all-consuming sun, whose great heat has already caused forests on the doomed planet to burst into raging flames, rivers and lakes to evaporate into nothingness. From his fire-gutted temple, the Ra's tyrant ruler of Apollo has gone to his summer palace on the hills above the parched Valley of Flowers. With the Ra's are his astrologers and court favorites. But many of the terrified people in an ever-swelling torrent have followed their ruler to the hills above the valley, where, surrounding the palace of metal and clay, they seethe and panic. Inside the palace, in his council room, the beak-nosed Raz sits cross-legged on the floor with his two chief astrologers, Zama and Kree. Fear is written in the lines of his swarthy, perspiring face. The golden circle on his forehead stands out like an angry ring of fire. Suddenly, he leaps to his feet, rushes to a deep vent in the thick wall. He jerks a heavy curtain across the vent, shutting out the noise of the crowd below. Then he strides back to his astrologers, fury for the moment banishing his fear.
You hear them, my astrologers? You hear the hateful noise of the rebel who, in their fear for their lives, lose their fear of me? Soon, unless something is done, they may even rise against me.
Nay. They dare not, O Universal One.
They dare and they will. They think the star we live on is being consumed in heat and flame, and they would rise against me before they die.
But our star cannot be consumed.
Tell me then, Zama, how came the far snow-capped mountains to crumble like sand yesterday and then disappear? And whence comes this frightful heat, which causes our forests to blaze into fire of themselves, and our rivers and wells to dry up, and our crops to die?
It is the traitor Thane who is to blame for all this misfortune.
Aye, Thane. And the evil spirit with whom he conspired. He who called himself Superman. Between them, they have brought this evil upon us.
That is so, sire.
Perhaps you are right. It was Thane and this Superman who warned that our star would move into the great sun and be destroyed. Perhaps they have caused this to happen.
Aye, sire. If only you had heeded our counsel and turned Thane into stone at once.
When first we acquainted you with this treachery.
It was the princess who interceded for him. Also, I feared his power with the people. If I but had the villain Thane here now, my giant slaves would make him die slowly and painfully.
Do your spies search for him now?
Aye, but how can they find him? It is my belief that when Superman flew from our star, he took with him Thane, the girl Lalo, and the giant who aided them.
But Superman could not have taken Thane and the other two from our star, O Ross.
What mean you, Cree? You saw them fly away?
Aye, but we say Superman is a spirit from a star of the dead. Thane and his daughter still live. They could not go to Superman's star without killing them.
That is true. Superman must have deposited them somewhere upon this, our own star.
I had not thought of that. But if that is so, then why have my spies not found Thane? My orders were to search everywhere, in every village. I will have the Captain Corps in here at once.
Here is Corps now, sire.
Ah, Corps, I would speak with you.
What is your wish, my Raz?
I know that Thane must be somewhere in our land. I command you to find him at once, or your life will be forfeit.
I have come to report that Thane has been found, O Universal One.
What?
He has?
Aye, he was found in the village of his birth, on the ridge above the Sea of Mercury.
Good, excellent. Where is the villain now?
Below in the valley, sire.
Bring him to me at once.
That may be dangerous, sire.
Dangerous? What mean you?
Many of the people surround Thane. They say he warned of this calamity which has come upon us. If we attempt to harm him, we may precipitate a revolution.
Who speaks of harming him, fool? At least at this moment. Hear me, Captain. Say to Thane that I seek his wise counsel. Say that if he will come to me now and aid in saving our star, anything he asks shall be his. Anything.
But how can you offer this, O'Roz?
He will ask that you free all of our subjects.
Let him ask, and I will promise. I will even promise to advocate for my throne in Thane's own favor if he asks.
Nay, nay.
Silence! Thane, with his magic, is the only one who can save us from destruction. That is, with the aid of Superman, the evil spirit with whom he is in league. When they have done what we wish, I shall finish them quickly and then conveniently forget all my promises.
Aye, of course.
You are wonderfully clever, O Raz.
Hurry, Captain. Carry my message to Thane and escort him here at once.
Planning to trick Superman into coming to his aid, the despotic Raz waits for Thane, unaware that at this very moment Superman is exerting every effort of his great strength and will in the search for the lost planet. In the limitless reaches of space, the Man of Steel has begun to circle the sun, fighting off its terrible numbing rays, flashing away from the deadly streams of electrons pouring throughout space from sunspots. Half blinded, he shields his eyes from the sun and continues to push onward.
I can't go on much longer. Getting weaker. But Thane and Lalo, everyone on Apollo will be lost unless I help them. Oh, those rays. They're worse than 100 cyclotrons. Where is that planet? Maybe Millicent's right. Maybe it's already been consumed by the sun. Wait. What's that? Far off there. Could that be? Yes, it looks like Apollo. Great Scott, now I don't see it anymore. Did my eyes play a trick on me?
Hoping against hope, Superman urges his tired muscles into another burst of speed and streaks away in the direction where he thought he had seen the doomed planet. Did he see it? And if so, what has happened to it? We'll return in a moment with the tense climax of today's episode. So stand by. Superman makes a final desperate effort to locate Apollo, the elderly white-bearded Thane, weakened and sad, has been brought into the presence of the Roz, who pleads with him craftily.
Anything you wish will be yours. I will grant freedom to everyone in this land, as you have so often asked me to do, only save us.
But I tell you, there is nothing I can do, sire.
It's because he does not wish to aid us, Roz.
Quiet, Thomas. Hear me, Thane. Save us, and you shall have even my throne. I will abdicate in your favor.
That will not be necessary, Roz. For in but a short time, you will abdicate in favor of the great being.
Speak not thus. It is you who can preserve us.
Nay, not I. Earlier, perhaps with the aid of Superman, he whom you scorned and seek to destroy. But now it is too late.
It cannot be. It must not be. Summon Superman to come back and help us.
Oh, if only I could, sire.
You must.
Ah, you summoned him once. Do so again, I beg of you.
I tell you, it is impossible, sire.
Hold. What is that?
Great stars. It sounds as if the end is near.
The whole palace shakes.
See, sire. The whole valley is cracking.
Speak, Thane. What is this, man? What happened?
I fear we have now come so close to the sun that our star splits and breaks apart in the sun's heat and terrible rays.
Aye. That is the end.
Nay. Nay, it is not so, Thane. Save us! Save us!
Would that I could, sire. Not for your sake, but for the sake of the helpless millions on this star who must suffer for your blind lust for power. But now nothing can be done. Our fateful end is at hand.
Thrown from their feet as another titanic explosion seems to shake and rend Apollo apart. The Roz and his terrified astrologers wail in loud anguish, while Thane is quiet and resigned. Is this the end of Apollo and its people? What if Superman, half blinded in fate? Is he chasing a mirage, and is he, too, doomed? Tomorrow's episode is packed with thrills and action, fellows and girls, so be sure not to miss it. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman. And now, the adventures of Superman. As Superman, pitting his life against the mighty forces of the elements, searched through space for the lost planet Apollo, the planet itself was being drawn steadily toward destruction by the blazing sun. Already fires rage in Apollo's forest. Mountains have crumbled, rivers and lakes have dried up, and the people are in panic. Meanwhile, believing that Thane, an elderly scientist, had conspired with Superman to bring this disaster to Apollo, the Roz, tyrannical ruler of the planet, craftily offered Thane his throne if he would summon Superman and avert final destruction. But before Thane could reply to what was obviously a ruse, terrific explosions began to shake Apollo, and the elderly scientist cried out,
I'm here. This is the end. Our star is splitting apart, and no one can do anything to help us now.
As we continue now in the palace of the Roz, explosion after explosion rocks the planet. Sama and Cree, the court astrologers, have been thrown to the floor, where they huddle in terror. And the beak-nosed Roz, his swarthy face contorted with fear, grovels on his knees before Thane, whom he mistakenly believes can save them. Listen.
Only you, Thane, can aid us now. I beg of you, do not allow us to be destroyed.
But there is naught I can do, sire.
You can yet save us. You must.
It is too late. Our poor star, torn from its orbit, moves into the merciless fire of the sun, whose terrible rays even now rend it to pieces.
Withdraw us then from the sun.
Oh, if only I could, sire.
Summon the evil spirit you brought here before. He who calls himself Superman. You and he brought this evil upon us.
Nay, we did not. We sought only to warn you of this.
Well, then can you not now protect us? Do this, Thane, and I will abdicate my throne in your favor. I will do anything.
I tell you, sire, there is nothing.
Thane. Always you condemn me for enslaving the people of this star. Save us now, and I will set them free, I promise. But Cree and Zama are witnesses to my promise. Save us, and all shall be on the star as you desire.
I only help us, Thane.
You're fools and cowards. Faced with destruction, you grovel in fear. Think you to save yourselves by righting old wrongs?
Aye, we were wrong to enslave the people. They shall be free, Thane, I promise. But you must save them, and
How can I, a mortal man, bring miracles to pass?
You can summon Superman.
Aye. His powers and your magic can save us.
Yes, summon him, Thane.
I cannot summon Superman. I have prayed that he return and save my daughter Lalo and all the other innocent helpless ones on this star. And so he promised. But I fear he is unable now to find us. He may even be lost. This is the end. We perish.
Hiding their faces in their hands, the Raz and his astrologers wail in anguish, certain that their end has come, as a violent explosion shakes the palace to its foundations. But unknown to them, and even to Thane, the thunderous explosions are not signaling the destruction of Apollo, but are caused by Superman in his effort to save them. Having finally sighted the lost planet in space, Superman, in a last desperate effort to counter the gravitational pull of the sun, is attempting a superhuman feat. Like a titanic battering ram, he is driving through the solid surface of Apollo, down through the rock and soil and subterranean waters and strata of the planet, boring, plunging to its very core. Finally reaching his goal, the Man of Steel releases in monstrous jets the pent-up gases, the hitherto unknown vapors and fires which crash and thunder in flashing energy up through the passage he has created.
I think this is working. At least the planet has stopped moving toward the sun. Now to bore through another spot to make a second jet of power. Away!
Again and still again, the Man of Steel drives through the surface of Apollo and is almost blown back into space by the tremendous jets of power he releases. Pausing only to catch his breath, he drives back still another time and another, piercing to the core of the planet. Vapors, gases, boulders, water, and oil burst forth with him. Now, like some gigantic ball, the planet Apollo spins faster on its axis, then gradually retreats from the sun to find its own safe orbit and rotates there once more. Then Superman fills in the tunnels he bored into Apollo's core, and it slows down to revolve normally again. A renewed satellite in the solar system. On Apollo, the inhabitants look at each other with dawning hope in their eyes. The ground is once again firm beneath their feet. The air is cooler, and soon rain begins to fall, feeding the parched soil and rivers and wells. In the palace of the Raz, as Thane looks on, the beak-nosed ruler and his two astrologers leap and cavort gleefully until they sink down exhausted. And then the Raz calls,
Hear me, Zama. You have a way with words.
What is your wish, O Universal One?
I would have you publish a proclamation to the people. Say it is my wish that tomorrow will be a day of celebration dedicated to me in gratitude for my saving my loyal subjects from destruction.
It shall be done, sire.
You would say that you saved them, sire?
So I wish it to be said. Do you object, Thane?
Certainly I object, since it was not you who saved our star from being carried into the sun, but rather some miracle, which at the moment I cannot rightly understand.
Nor do the people understand. But we will lead them to believe I am their savior. And being stupid rebel, they will believe, and so complain less of their lot. Is that not true, my astrologers?
It is true, sire.
Oh, you are wondrous clever, oh my Raz.
Nay, not clever, but wicked. Nor are the people rabble, as you call them. They are human beings, entitled to the freedom you promised.
I promised them freedom.
Aye. You said if we were preserved, you would grant the people their freedom. You said, too, that you would abdicate your throne.
I remember saying nothing so absurd. Did I, Zama?
Certainly not, sire.
Did you hear me say what Thane claims, Cree?
Never, sire. Thane lies as usual.
Nay, it is you three who lie. Now that you are delivered from destruction by the sun, you would return to your former ways of holding the people in slavery, treating them as cattle, while you continue to fatten on their toil.
Of course they are cattle. But how dare you say to your Raz that he lies?
It is treason.
Thane should be turned to stone for his blasphemy.
I shall go to the people and say the truth. That not you, but a miracle saved them. That you cowered in fright as they did. And that you promised their freedom if our star was spared.
You shall say nothing to them.
I shall. I go to them now.
Think you so? Guards, seize this traitor Thane and hold him prisoner, and bring here to his daughter Lalo.
Nay, let me go.
The two shall die at once. Then shall the people be told that Thane, who all know conspired with the evil spirit Superman, brought us to the brink of disaster from which I saved them.
They will not believe you.
I shall so write it, sire.
A clever plan. The rabble which supports Thane will be won away from him.
Aye. Fetch the girl, Lalo. This time we wait not to dispatch them. They die at once.
No, no.
Held fast by giant guards, Thane struggles helplessly as other guards rush out to bring in Lalo, to be executed with her father. We'll return in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode. So stand by. As the Roz was condemning Thane and his daughter Lalo to die, Superman, having paused to rest from his tremendous labors, has gone to the distant village on Apollo where he had left Thane, Lalo, and the giant Ord. Wearing the half-mask connected to the nitrogen and oxygen cylinders on his back and the mental telepathy helmet of the Apollonians, Superman finds the village entirely deserted. Alarmed for his friends, he takes to the air. Several miles along a narrow highway, he sees Ord and drops to the ground beside the giant.
Ord, wait! Oh, it is the spirit who flies, Superman.
That's right. Tell me what happened to everyone in the village. Where are Thane and Lalo?
The wise old one and his daughter were seized by the soldiers of the Roz.
What? When was this?
2, perhaps 3 days gone, when first came the strange thunder and the snow-capped mountains disappeared. In all that happened, I have lost trace of time.
Where did the soldiers take Thane and Lalo?
Where but to the presence of the evil Roz himself and his wicked astrologer.
Uh-oh.
I escaped from them and hid while they rounded up all the others in the village and dispatched them, accusing them of harboring Thane, whom they called a traitor to the Roz.
Great Scott.
Then I was delayed by the terrible explosions and shakings of the ground. Now I go to seek aid for Thane and Lalo from my mistress, the princess. But I fear I am too late.
Perhaps not. Up with you, Ord.
We fly through the air again?
We certainly do. All right, Ord, hang on. Here we go. Up and away!
Leaping from the lonely road with the giant Ord, Superman rockets away across Apollo, bound for the palace of the Roz, in an effort to find and save his friends, Thane and Lalo. Is there still time for him to prevent the execution of Thane and Lalo? Superman's work is far from over, so be sure to be with us tomorrow when he comes to grips with the powerful giant slaves of the Roz, whose strength is almost equal to his own. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. You know, gang, words can have a wonderful taste to them. Like on a frosty morning, you can almost taste words like crisp, crunchy, crinkly. Crumbles. Sure, that name just fits, doesn't it? Crumbles, Kellogg's Crumbles. Just seems to go with words like crisp and crunchy. It's such a toasty kind of cereal, sort of sweet and nutto-rich. And you know, it's the only cereal in the whole wide world made in those little crinkly shreds of good whole wheat. Crisp, crunchy, crinkly. Crumbles for breakfast, Kellogg's Crumbles. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.